And Israel, we'll go back to Fionnuala Sweeney, who's in Jerusalem for the very latest on the unfolding Gaza crisis. Hi there, Finn.
Hello, Sasha. A story which developed yesterday, a deadly attack, in fact the deadliest attack of the 12-day Israeli military offensive in Gaza. A UN UNRWA school being hit, 40 people died, 45 people were injured. Now, the United Nations is demanding that there be an independent inquiry and investigation into what took place. Israel obviously querying the circumstances in which this attack took place, saying it attacked because Hamas militants were firing on Israeli troops from inside the school compound. The UN says its own investigation shows that that wasn't the case and it wants proof from Israel. Israel has released video from another incident in 2007 that it says shows militants firing a mortar next to a school in Gaza. Israel says that is proof enough that Hamas uses civilian buildings as shields. Well, earlier I discussed this controversy between Israel and the United Nations. Earlier in the day, Paul Gunnis, a spokesman for UNRWA, and Yigal Palmore of the Israeli Foreign Ministry came into the bureau and decided, somewhat spontaneously I should say, to debate on air the issues that divide them.
From the school grounds, the IDF responded to that fire, and the tragic result was what we all know. But the IDF responded to mortar fire that was originated from within the immediate vicinity of the school. There have been press reports that quote neighbors who have been saying that they've witnessed the terrorist fire from within the school.
Christopher Gunnis, people were using this as a shelter, so there is a question clearly of the UN's credibility being brought in here if this is true.
Let me say something which I'm sure will do something to shore up our credibility. We have done an initial investigation, Fionnuala, and we are 99.9% certain that there were no militants, there were no militant activities in the school or in the school compound. I noticed that Yigal says within the vicinity, and the IDF statement fudges the issue of whether they were in the compound, in the school, where they were. UNRWA is responsible for its compounds and its facilities.
Yigal Palmore has just said they were inside the school grounds.
Can you confirm that?
I said the immediate vicinity. I can't. Well, the immediate vicinity means right next to the wall. What wall exactly, I'm not in a position to say now. But sticking with their back to the wall of the school can be the school grounds or technically outside the fence, but still within the immediate vicinity of the school.
Yigal, I've got to nail you on this. Were they in an UNRWA compound or not? If they were, then you can say to people, well, they were there. If they weren't, let's be clear about it, be honest, be open. And by the way, say it to an impartial inquiry. We have nothing to hide. Bring it on. We want to see the evidence. We want to clear any suspicion that we're doing the militants in our compound.
In terms of the evidence, you say you're 99.9% sure, so what gives you reason?
We had an investigator, one of our best people in Gaza City, went up to the area. We talked to community leaders, we talked to the refugees who were there, 1,300 people who were told, many by the IDF, to leave their homes. They came to the neutrality of a UN compound, and then this tragedy happened. We've had an investigator there talking to people. We are 99.9% certain. If there's any doubt, can anyone come forward, give us the evidence? The Israeli army is circulating ancient pictures which allegedly show that militants using our compound. It's an old set of pictures to show a new case. Doesn't work.
Paul Gunnis of UNRWA and Yigal Palmore of the Israeli Foreign Ministry debating earlier in the day. And as I say, it was actually a spontaneous debate that came about because the two men happened to be in the building at the same time and actually decided to debate with each other on CNN.